3 p.m. on a Sunday. It's time for Dinoventures. I was gonna say hide your kids, hide your wife. Find your kids, find your wife, get them on this Zoom. We're gonna nerd out hard about dinosaurs. It is Sunday afternoon. Kristina, what's up?
Hey, it's first full day of spring, right? The equinox was yesterday. This is my spring turtleneck. I'm ready to go.
Ready to go. I got my dino shirt, and that's actually a good point. You guys, it's 3 p.m. Well, it might be noon if you're in California or somewhere else in the world. But for the next 3 minutes, while we let people trickle into our Zoom experience, we would love to see if you are wearing some cool dino gear. So like get that up front and center. I'm curious. I see Dinosaur Rex has got a shirt. Mitch has got a T-Rex shirt. Well, Dinosaurus has got like multiple bedazzled dinos. I'm here for that. Kristina, what else we got?
Oh man, I see Vedyan has a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, it's an informative diagram.
Ooh,
that's awesome.
Fashion and learning all in one. Marco's got the JP shirt. Nice Jurassic Park shirt, Marco. Sandro, the struggle is real. Got the small T-Rex arms. Just can't do much with those things.
Can't do it. Oh, also, this reminds me that if you have a name as your Zoom name that isn't who you are or what you want us to call you, now's a good time to rename yourself. The way you'll do that is open up the participants list, hover over your name. You'll see a more option, then it'll tell you can rename. Yeah. You can also just send me the name that you want me to change yours to, and I'll change it. Just so we can call you what you like to be called and have everybody who's Zoom together. Yeah. What's up, Dustin?
I see JoJo's here with the whole squad. You got everyone, the whole family is decked out in dinosaurs, their sartorial best. I mean, it's Sunday. I get dressed up on Sundays for dino stuff. Well, every day.
Awesome, JoJo. Kennedy has a whole dinosaur. Look at Kennedy maybe.
Oh yeah, Kennedy is wearing or riding a dinosaur?
Riding along on a dinosaur. Incredible.
Okay. All right. I've noticed my mom has just entered the room, so let's be on our best behavior today, Kristina. Okay?
Yeah, we'll clean this one up.
So we have 1 more minute. We're waiting for our last few friends to trickle in. We got 1 more minute, then we're going to start our weekly Sunday Dino Ventures. I always say like I'm so excited, but I am. I'm excited to hang out and nerd out with you guys. We got our dino gear on Sunday, ready to go. Kristina, I think it's time.
It is time.
Should we do this?
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome, friends. I'm incredibly excited that you guys have all worn your dino gear just like us today. Today, well, if you're here last week, we started with our very first Dino Ventures, and we started where I think we should always start when talking about dinosaurs, which is what even is a dinosaur? Like, how do you know a dinosaur when you see it? And so that was last week. Today, we're going to talk about fossilization. So we know dinosaurs existed primarily because of their fossils. So how does a dinosaur go from a dinosaur living, breathing, eating to being a fossil? So that is what we're going to talk about today. But I'm curious to know, I'm going to open a little bit of poll. Maybe your parents or mom or dad could help with this poll. We're just curious if today is the first time you've been at Dino Ventures. Were you here last week when we talked about what is a dinosaur, or is today your first time? You're just here for fossilization? Please vote in the chat now. Ooh, we got some newcomers. Nice.
Oh, it's exactly 50-50 right now, and then it changed. But
Kristina, were you here last week? I think you were here last week.
I was certainly here last week. Physically and mentally. I don't know about you.
Almost like half and half. We have a lot of returning champions from last week, but we have a few friends that are brand new this week. Very cool. We're excited that you guys are all here. Now, just real quick, if you were here last week, you might remember that we talked about how do we determine a dinosaur when we see one. And so I'm not going to do the whole thing again, but just as a little bit of a review, remember, all you have to do to figure out if any animal you're looking at ever is a dinosaur is ask yourself these 2 questions. 1, are the animal's legs directly under its body? If the answer to that is yes, you're halfway there to being a dinosaur, which means technically you're halfway there to being a dinosaur. But I assume, looking at question number 2, you do not have scales or feathers. Almost every single animal, there's a couple small exceptions because that's how science works. Almost every single animal that's ever lived, if its legs come straight down under its body and it has scales or feathers, that animal is a dinosaur. So for instance, I bring this up because if you think about reptiles like alligators or crocodiles, their legs come way out to the sides. And it's a pretty good way to move around in water. But when they come on land, it's like you're walking while trying to do a push-up. It's not a very easy way to move around. Versus ourselves and dinosaurs, our legs come straight down under our bodies You move a lot faster, more easily doing it that way. But just to get the blood flowing today on Sunday, I thought we would try to walk like sprawling reptiles, like an alligator or a crocodile. So, friends, if you can hear my voice and you choose to, I would love it if you tried to walk like an alligator or a crocodile across your room. So what you have to do is you get down on all fours, and then one hand goes in front of the other hand goes in front of the other. See if it's easier for you to walk across the room like that, or just standing upright on two legs. Kristina, can you model this for us? Can we see?
Yeah, definitely. I'm taking over to where I have more floor.
Okay, more floor. We need a little more floor for this.
So first I'm gonna try the like an alligator way.
Yeah, there we go.
Right?
Okay.
Out to the sides. And then what?
Yeah, exactly. Just try to walk while you're doing that push-up. It's really hard, isn't it?
Oh man, how much more evolution do I need to do? This isn't that fun.
Millions of years.
Oh gosh.
I see some friends in the chat are trying this. All right, Kristina, can you stand up now and just walk across the room upright on two legs, like a dinosaur, like a person?
Whoa. I mean,
wow, is that easier? Is it easier
it's
for
like
you?
I was born for bipedalism.
It was like you were born to walk upright. I love that. All right. So, and that is why, friends, like we figured out last week, certain animals that we think are dinosaurs, like Dimetrodon, it's not actually a dinosaur because its legs don't come down under us, versus T-Rex, Velociraptor, Brontosaurus, Oranosaurus. These are all dinos. They got their legs right under them. But that is not what we are here to talk about today. Today, this is what we're talking about. We have, let's see, a little less than an hour at this point to go through 12 different things. We already did our welcome. We already did a little show and tell with our cool dino shirts. We just did our review of last week. What is a dinosaur? So those are all crossed out, which means it is now time to introduce our dino of the day. So every week we're gonna have a dinosaur of the day. And if you choose to, your challenge is to draw it during our time together. And at the end, in about 40 minutes, we'll go around, everyone will hold up their drawings. So you can use paper and pen, pencil, watercolors, paint. I don't know if any of you are like digital artists. Sure, render it digitally. However you want to draw your dino of the day. And your dino of the day today is the fossil, well, a dinosaur whose fossil got it started completely in the United States. And I'll tell you why in a second. So this is Hadrosaurus. It's a type of duck-billed hadrosaur. It's got like a duck bill, hundreds and hundreds of teeth in there. It's an herbivore. You know, it's like a medium-sized dino. There's another depiction of what it may have looked like. This is another Hadrosaurus. They also could rear up on their back legs to be able to reach, either sometimes walk up on two legs or to reach high up in the trees for food. And I like showing this image right here because this image looks a lot like this incredibly old image. What you are looking at, boys and girls, is the very first dinosaur fossil to ever be put in a museum in the United States. Way back in 1868 at the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia. It's the first time a dinosaur ever got put on display, their fossils mounted, put on display in a museum. And the museum got so many people to come and see it. They were lined up around the block. They started charging admission for people to come see it. It was the first time a museum in the United States had ever charged admission, because dinosaurs are always worth the money. At least in my mind, dinosaurs are always worth the money. So Hadrosaurus, here's one more image. This is your dino of the day. Make a cool sketch of your Hadrosaurus. And at the end, we'll go around, and I'm excited to see all these very beautiful Hadrosaurs. Now, let's see. We just did dino of the day. Now, you may have noticed on my little flow chart here of our day, if it's in green, guess what? That's for us kids. And if it's in red, well, there's only one thing for adults. And that is right now. It is time for dino or not a dino. So Kristina, I'm curious, do you know of anyone out there, an adult, a parent maybe, who obviously is going to get help from the kids to figure out which dinos are dinos, but do we have an adult you think wants to play?
I am looking for a grown-up who wants to play.
Okay.
Quinn, would you like to be our contestant today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Quinn is who? Who else is in your Zoom today, Quinn?
Mom, my dad, and my little sister.
Hello. And Dad, what's your name?
James.
James. Okay, James, this is the moment you've been training for. And kids in the Zoom room, this grown-up needs you, okay? James, you're about to figure out which of these names that Dustin is reading. Is it a dino or not a dino? You'll check out the gallery, and the kids will show you, yes, it's a dino, or no, not a dino.
All right.
Let's do a quick practice. Hey guys, how about Tyrannosaurus Rex? That one's easy. Yeah, we all know that's a dino.
I'm gonna go with yes on that one.
That was a practice. That's a warm-up. That's like spring training. It's spring outside, spring training. So again, sir, James, it's James, right?
Yes.
James, here's how it's going to work. I have a list of 10 different animals, some of which are real, actual dinosaurs, some of which we have totally made up. And your job is to simply discern the real dinosaurs from the fake dinosaurs with the help of all of our friends here today. Are you ready to play?
Let's get after it.
If you need a spelling, I'm happy to spell any of these. And also, because you are an intrepid dinosaur science adult, there's a theme for the not dinosaurs. And if you can also figure that out, you win 4 internet high fives.
I'll take them.
All right, here we go. Animal number 1.
Mari.
Protochesuchus. Protochesuchus. Protochesuchus.
Ooh, I'm gonna need some help from the gallery here. I got a no from Sarah. I thought I got thumbs up from Billy. Getting a no. I'm gonna go with no's. I'm getting a lot of no's.
That is correct. Protochesuchus is not a dinosaur.
Thank you guys.
Great start. Animal number 2. Macrogryphosaurus. Macrogryphosaurus.
Macro, be a big dino. I see mostly thumbs down.
Oh.
Macrogryphosaurus.
Ooh, but Kaylin is giving me a thumbs up, and she looks like she knows this. I'm gonna go thumbs up. I'm gonna go dino.
Ooh, okay. You're correct. That is a dinosaur. Wow, 2 for 2. Help from our science gallery. Love it. Animal number 3.
Kaylin's a ringer.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
Codosaurus. Codosaurus. Animal number 3 is Codosaurus.
Billy was real quick with the no and a head shake, so I can't go against what Billy says here.
Unfortunately, Codosaurus is a dinosaur.
Oh, Billy.
Listen, I learned that today too. Don't worry about it. You're doing well.
We'll get the next one.
Okay, next one is Monopolodon.
I'm sorry, what?
Monopolodon.
Monopolodon.
No.
No.
Everybody say no.
I'm gonna go with Natalie and take a no on this one.
That is correct. You're now 3 and 1. Well done. Animal number 5. Othelonyx. Othelonyx.
I'm looking at Kaylin, getting a no from there. I'm getting a yes from Leonosaurus Rex. I think I'm gonna go with the yes.
Me too.
No, it is not. Othelonyx is not.
I knew. I was already.
I went against my own son here. That was not a good move, Dad.
Next, Enigmosaurus. Enigmosaurus.
Enigmosaurus.
Enigmosaurus.
Ooh, Nate, what do you got for me, Nate? I'm gonna go thumbs up and a yes on this one.
That is correct. Enigmosaurus is a dinosaur. You now got 4 right, 2 wrong. Next.
And I'm sweating here.
It's tough. I know.
A lot of pressure. I know.
Jangarkeo.
Hmm.
Jangarkeo.
Thumbs down from Billy.
The horse siblings are giving me thumbs down, so I'm going with the double thumbs down from the horse family.
So I need your final answer.
Oh no, that's a no. No.
That's correct. The horse. Hey, Hursts. Hey guys, they're in Tennessee. That's correct. You're now 5 and 2. Well done. Here we go. In the home stretch. Ozraptor.
Ooh.
Ozraptor.
Ooh, that's from Ethan.
I just noticed Leonosaurus Rex is here from like a year ago when we started doing this. Hi, Leonosaurus. It's so great to see you again.
I'm gonna go. Andrew and John are both giving me thumbs up, so I'm gonna say yes, dinosaur.
True. That is true. 6 and 2. 6 plus 2 minus 3 carry the 1. That's 8. That's 8 total according to math. We got 2 more to go. Ajkaceratops. AJKA Ceratops. Ajkaceratops.
Oh no. I'm gonna go no on this one. Not a dinosaur.
James, I'm gonna go yes. I'm sorry. That is a dinosaur.
Wait, do you outrule me on this?
Science is outruled. you.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, 6 and 3, which means 9. So to get 7, solid C. Last but not least, before I give you the last one, do you know what the theme for the not dinos is? I noticed someone in the chat got it.
That certainly does now.
Who I'm gonna call in a friend who thinks they know it. Is there a friend who knows it?
Let me read the last one, and then we can see if we can all figure it out together. This will be this is the last one. To get 7 out of 10, last but not least, Connectphorosaurus.
I'm gonna go straight no.
Yeah.
Hard no. Hard no.
Yeah.
Hard
I
no.
know.
Connectphorosaurus is not a dinosaur. Were you able to discern the theme for the not dinos?
What is it, bud? Is it games?
We had
Games.
Protochess, we had Monopolodon, we had Othello. Games. These are all board games. Jenga, and Connectphorosaurus. James, you've won the game. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I owe it to my supporting team here. It's all them.
Listen,
Do you want your internet high fives paid out in a lump sum or one a month?
Good question.
Let's do the monthly plan.
Okay.
Here's your first one.
Thank you kindly.
Awesome. And just so you guys know that I was being serious with all the other ones, here are the 5 actual real dinosaurs that we just heard and learned about. Macrogryphosaurus, somewhat related to our dino of the day, the Hadrosaurus. This one comes all the way from Argentina. James, are you wearing an Argentina soccer jersey right now?
Scotland, actually.
I mean, it's similar though. Am I right? It's similar to the color and the design.
Yeah, more or less. Pretty much the same weather, same, everything.
Okay, so that's Macrogryphosaurus. We also had Codosaurus.
Spikes on the back.
It's true. So this is a Codosaurus. This is a sauropod, one of the long neck guys. This one's from India. I wanted to show you guys some dinosaurs that maybe you've never heard of that are from all over the world, right? We think about dinosaurs just being from America, maybe Canada. But again, this is Argentina. This one is all the way over in India. Enigmosaurus is a type of therizinosaur. This one's from Mongolia in Asia. Such a weird looking herbivore, even though it's got those big claws. Ozraptor is a type of theropod, a carnivore from Australia. And last but not least, Ojkaceratops, a tiny little relative of Triceratops. Actually, the first ceratopsian, the frilled horn dinos, the first one we've ever found in Europe. This one's found in Hungary, and it looks hungry.
Hey.
All right. Kristina, how we doing before we move on? How you feeling?
I learned about new dinos today. You think you know every dino there is? It's impossible.
Impossible.
Ojkaceratops is so small.
So small. So today, friends, we're going to talk about fossilization. How does a dinosaur become a fossil? Before we get into that, Kristina and I have another question for you. Just a very simple little poll. We're curious to know, if you went out on a fossil dig and you found part of a dinosaur, which would you be most excited to find? Would you be most excited to find a Stegosaurus plate, a T-Rex tooth, a Triceratops frill, a Velociraptor claw, or a Brontosaurus tail? Which would you be most excited to find? Stegosaurus plate, T-Rex tooth, Triceratops frill, Velociraptor claw, or the tail of a Brontosaurus?
And to clarify, Stegosaurus plate are the roof shingles that are on their back.
Yeah.
They're not spikes, but the tall things on top of their back.
Mm-hmm.
Triceratops frill is what comes up behind at the back of their head. I think I would be most excited to find a Brontosaurus tail because a whole tail, that's so many bones.
Yeah, that's a lot of bones.
Find them all connected in a tail shape, preserved over time, that would be super cool to me.
Yep, I like that. It looks as though our friends want to find a Velociraptor claw. Let me share these poll results. Looks like Velociraptor claw is the winner. T-Rex tooth as well. It's a good choice. That'd be cool to find a big claw for sure. All right, let's get into it. Let's figure out how a dinosaur becomes a fossil, because we see fossils all the time, but wait a minute. How do we actually go from a living, breathing animal again to a fossil that we find, dig up, clean, and put in a museum? So unfortunately, the first thing that has to happen for a dinosaur to become a fossil is for it to die. Womp, womp. Now, I'm going to use an animal that's alive today, not a dinosaur, but an animal that's alive today that I wanted to show you because, well, I learned about it today and I thought it was really cool. You guys, this is a marine iguana. You can see its arms kind of come out to the side. It's not a dinosaur. It's definitely a reptile. They're really cool looking, but unfortunately for our purposes today, for turning it into a fossil, it's got to die. And he is not happy about dying, which I understand. But everything that lives at some point is going to die. And so this is another marine iguana that has died and has started to rot. And I bring this picture up because A, it's kind of gross and cool and weird looking. I'll get rid of that. We'll just go to its skull.
It's gone, Billy. It's gone.
It's okay, it's gone. Because the first thing that happens is it needs to be buried really, really quickly, right? If an animal, let's say there's an animal and it falls over, it's like, oh, its life is over. Usually what happens is other animals and bacteria and bugs just eat it and rip it apart, disarticulate, which means break apart all the skeleton pieces, and it gets strewn all over the place. And it doesn't really, there's no chance to be a fossil. So in order for most dinosaurs to become a fossil, it's got to be buried almost immediately. And before I show you that, I forgot. The reason why I wanted to show you guys that marine iguana, because this is something I learned today. Look at its teeth. Look at this. Have you ever seen teeth that look like this? Like I had never seen teeth like that look like this until like literally 2 hours ago. Look at those teeth. I was like, what does this thing eat with those teeth? And marine iguanas apparently eat almost entirely algae. So they're scraping green, like mushy algae off of rocks in the ocean using these, what are the weirdest looking teeth I've ever seen. Kristina, have you seen teeth like this before?
Only in a bad dream.
Only in a bad dream. That's fair. All right, enough about our friend marine iguana. This is a general 4-step progression of how a dinosaur becomes a fossil. First, we got a T-Rex. It died. Womp womp. That's pretty sad. Again, ideally, in really good, rare circumstances, in that second piece right here, it gets buried pretty quickly. So it's buried underground, so all the bones kind of stay together. Then, over time, all the minerals in the bones are actually replaced by the minerals in the earth and the soil and the water around it. So in fact, when you see a fossilized bone in a museum, that's not even a bone anymore. It is now a rock, because all of the like the natural, organic, like living parts, like calcium, we drink calcium to give us our strong bones. So we have a lot of calcium in our bones. Over time, as that dinosaur is buried underground, all the minerals in the rock around it actually come into the bone and replace and kick out the calcium, all the stuff that it was making up that bone when it was alive, and actually turns that bone into a rock that is shaped exactly like the bone used to be. So when you see a fossil in a museum, you are actually looking at a solid rock, not a bone. It hasn't been a bone for millions of years. And that's also why if you go to a museum and you see animals hanging from the ceiling, those animals are almost usually copies or replicas or models. They're not the real fossilized bones, because again, those are rocks that weigh a lot and it's very hard to hang them from the ceiling. But if it's in a glass case on the floor, it's much more likely to be the actual real fossil, because it's on the floor and it's not trying to hang a bunch of weight from the ceiling. Now, I wanted to show you guys, before I get into like the different types of fossils, I wanted to show you an image from one of my favorite fossils ever. Does anyone know either species that they're looking at, either of the dinosaurs that they see in this drawing right here, which is based off of this insanely beautiful, well-preserved fossil that is known as the fighting dinosaurs? Marco's got his hand raised. Marco, I'm going to unmute you for a sec. Yeah, go ahead.
I went to the last Dino 101, and I believe that you said that these dinosaurs were the Protoceratops and the Velociraptor.
Nailing it. This is a Velociraptor on the right. Good job. High fives. Velociraptor on the right, Protoceratops on the left, which is another one of those ceratopsians, like a small relative of Triceratops. And the reason why this was preserved so well, so this was found in Mongolia, and we think they were fighting because if you look carefully, that Velociraptor's right arm is actually in the mouth of the Protoceratops. And then the left arm, it's kind of got it hooked around the back of its frill. So they were like literally wrestling and fighting literally to the death, because we think a sand dune collapsed and buried both of them immediately. And they were trapped in this moment in time, which is it's like a photograph from a second or a moment that happened some 80 million years ago. And it's that well preserved. Usually fossils don't look quite this good. And they're usually don't get a full animal. It's really rare to find a complete animal fossilized, especially like a really big one like T-Rex. But for smaller dinos, we find more that way. All right, let's see. I'm going to show our little schedule of today. So we just talked about how does a dinosaur become a fossil. It gets buried quickly. All the soft stuff like like organs and skin and muscles rot away. You're left with just the bones. And then over time, those bones are actually converted into rocks. And that's how we make a fossil. There's different types of fossils, which we'll get to in a second, but I wanted to pause for some questions because I know, Kristina, I know you have questions. I know you kiddos in the chat have questions. So what do we got, Kristina?
So first of all, while we're here, I want to point out Miles' picture because it's a fossilized dinosaur. We've been talking about how we go from bones to rock. That's why usually when you see a dinosaur fossil in a museum, it doesn't have white bones like a living thing has. They often show up as different colors, and that tells you what kind of minerals have replaced the bones. So Miles' picture in my gallery, it's down to the right. It might be different in your gallery, but I see these sort of light brown bones. Yeah, there you go, Dustin.
That's a really good point. Fossils are all different colors because there's different minerals in the soil. You may live somewhere where they're like the soil sometimes is kind of reddish because it's got a lot of clay in it. So depending on what the color and the minerals in the earth and the soil where it gets buried are, those minerals replace the bone. And that's why, like Kristina said, you get fossils that are tan, dark brown, light brown, like almost like a dark black chocolatey. So they come in all different colors because of that.
My favorite is when they get replaced by a mineral called opal and they look kind of rainbow.
Ooh, opalized fossils are so cool.
Opalized fossils. We had a question from Lenosaurus Rex in the chat for a reminder for our dino of the day. What do hadrosaurs' arms look like? Can you bring back up the picture to remind our paleo artists?
Hadrosaur friend again. I like that you brought that up because we think they usually walked on 4 legs, but could also sometimes walk on 2. Maybe reach up into the trees. But yeah, the front arms, you're right, they're smaller than the back legs.
Yeah, they could do 4 or 2. So front legs would be a little shorter.
Yeah.
Let's see in the gallery. Ethan, what's your question?
How fast can a gallimimus run?
How fast can a gallimimus run? Was that the question? Yeah, good question. I like that you got your Jurassic Park shirt. That's my favorite scene in Jurassic Park when the gallimimus are running in the field. I love that one. So we think gallimimus, which is probably the fastest dinosaur, if not the fastest, one of the fastest, a little bit over 40 miles per hour. We think that's probably the fastest, maybe like 40 to 45-ish miles per hour. Ethan, I'm going to ask you a question back. How could we possibly know that? What is a way, do you have any idea how we could start to think or estimate or guesstimate how fast they ran?
Oh, I think the gallimimus run like 50 miles per hour.
True, 40 to 50, that's fair. Kristina, how about you? I'm gonna pick on you. How can we possibly start, great question, Ethan. I love talking about running. I'm a runner, I'm gonna go running when we're done here. So Kristina, do you have any idea how we could possibly make guesses as how fast they went?
Well, we definitely couldn't watch one run. They've been gone for a long time, but they did leave behind footprints.
Yep, this is true. Footprints are pretty helpful. That is a segue because footprints are one type of fossil. Generally, scientists break fossils up into 2 groups. You have body fossils, which are literally any part of the body, from teeth to skulls, to stegosaurus plates, to the toes, to the arm, like the body, like parts of your body. So those are body fossils. And then the other group of fossils are what we call trace fossils. And footprints and trackways are a great example of a trace fossil. I like to think of a trace fossil as evidence that the dinosaur was there, but it's not actually part of their body, right? So you have all these footprints here. They left a trace behind. We don't actually see the dinosaur's body, but we left a fossil. It's left a trace. A footprint is a type of trace fossil. So and a trackway is basically a fancy term for like lots of footprints in a row like these. Whereas like this would be one versus this is a whole trackway. That's my hand next to a giant, I think this is an apatosaur foot. I don't remember. No, it's not a apatosaur. I actually don't remember which one this is. So that's one type of trace fossil. Before I show you guys another type of trace fossil, I'm curious to know if anyone can guess. Can anyone think of any other evidence that a dinosaur could leave behind that isn't actually part of its body? So we have a footprint. What else could a dinosaur leave behind that lets us know it was there? It's evidence it existed, but it's not actually part of its body. We got some friends in the chat nailing it already.
Miles and Sandra agree in
Yeah.
the chat.
Sandro, I'm gonna unmute you. Sandro, can you, actually, I just asked to unmute you. Sandro, can you tell us your answer to that? What's another type of trace fossil?
Poop.
Poop, that is, do you know the scientific term for fossilized poop? Oh, I heard someone say. Yeah. It is Sandro. I learned
My
this week.
brother said it because I was on mute, so he heard it.
Did you say it again? Remember?
Coprolite.
Yeah, there it is. So Kristina, write that in the chat. Coprolite. So thank you, Sandro. That is correct. Coprolites are fossilized dinosaur poop, which sounds pretty gross. I'm going to share my screen here. This doesn't really look like poop, though, right? And it hasn't been poop for millions of years. It doesn't smell like poop. It's a solid rock. But coprolites are really cool trace fossils because they can tell us a ton about the animal. Because inside this fossil, there are bits of whatever it was eating. So if it's plants, we know we can look at the minerals in those plants and figure out what the environment it was living in was like, what plants it was eating. If it's a carnivore, there'll actually be chunks of bone in the poop. And we can see what animals that animal was eating. And so we know what other animals are in the environment too. And it is true that some coprolites do look a little bit more like poop than others. But again, they've been a rock for millions of years. It doesn't smell at all. So no, it's not gross. I see a lot of hands up.
I see in the chat that Andrew and John said eggs are a trace fossil as well.
That is true. I love that you brought up eggs because I think of dinosaur eggs as if there's an embryo, if there's like a juvenile baby inside the egg, it's a body fossil inside of a trace fossil, right? The parent left this egg behind, so it's not part of their body, it's a trace, but inside that egg might be a tiny baby with bones and a body. So it's a body fossil inside of a trace fossil, which is uber cool. Uber cool. Do we have another question?
Yes. Is our dino of the day, the Hadrosaurus, related to the Iguanodon?
Yeah. Yes, they're both hadrosaurs. They're both duck-billed hadrosaurs. Hadrosaurus, though, didn't have that thumb spike that Iguanodon had.
And oh boy, there's a lot in this one,
Okay.
which I know you'll be excited to talk about, Dustin. Which dino was bigger, the Apatosaurus, the Brontosaurus, or the Brachiosaurus? Also, was the Brontosaurus, the Brachiosaurus, was the Apatosaurus? Are they the same? Are they different?
Get this question a lot. So Brachiosaurus, which is the one on my shirt right here, is different than Apatosaurus and Brontosaurus. And one way you can tell is if you think of like a picture or an image of an Apatosaurus or Brontosaurus, their neck and their back and their tail is almost horizontal. It's pretty flat, right? You got like your head over here, body, you got like legs, and then the tail. Versus Brachiosaurus, its neck kind of angles up towards the sky. And that's because, it's part of a group of dinosaurs called Giraffotitans. Like if you think about a giraffe, its front legs are longer than its back legs, just like the Brachiosaurus. So its body kind of angles up diagonally towards the sky. So Brachiosaurus is more like that, kind of like a giraffe. Brontosaurus and Apatosaurus like this. Brontosaurus and Apatosaurus are incredibly closely related. They're very, very similar looking dinosaurs. We have found enough fossils from both of them to figure out they are in fact two different ones, but they're very, very similar. It's almost like, like maybe like crows and ravens are very similar birds. Brontosaurus and Apatosaurus are similar. As far as which one is the largest, I'm not sure. Maybe that's some research you guys could do. What is biggest? And when you say biggest, do we mean longest? Do we mean heaviest? Not sure. I mean, they are huge. They're sauropods. They're the biggest animals that ever walked the face of the earth. But I don't know which one's the biggest.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell also based on what individuals we have found. Maybe scientists have already found the smaller ones, but the fossils of the bigger ones haven't been found yet. So there's still lots of questions left to answer about these enormous animals.
And because they're so big, we rarely find the whole thing. So you're only finding a couple bones here and there. And then you kind of have to make guesses about how big the other ones were. So even when we find like a really, really big leg bone, it's hard to know how big the entire animal was until we start finding more and more fossils. It's wild that fossils exist at all. And it's basically like a very incomplete puzzle that over years and years and years we're slowly piecing together to try to figure out what these things look like, how many they were, where they lived, everything about them. But I'm glad you guys are here to help us do just that. Oh, and speaking of helping us do stuff, we need your help finding some stuff. That means segue. Kristina, what was that a segue to?
That was a segue to everybody's second favorite, just in terms of the game that happens second when we see each other. Game.
Yep.
Run around your house and find stuff, scavenger hunt.
The scavenger hunt. So here's how this is going to work, guys. We have 3 different rounds. So the first round, I'm going to give you a clue of something you need to go and find in your home and bring back and show us on the camera. We'll give you like 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so to go find it. And we'll do that 3 times. So the first one will be the easiest. We'll get a little bit harder as we go. Are you guys, can I get a thumbs up if you are ready for round 1 of the scavenger hunt? Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Excellent, excellent. All right, here we go. Round 1 of the scavenger hunt. I need you guys to bring us to the screen an animal that is not a dinosaur. It can be a stuffed animal. It can be a picture in a book. It can be your pet. We need to see an animal that is not a dinosaur.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to take you to mine.
Okay, cool. Kristina's going to show us one.
Yeah.
Bring us a non-dinosaur. It can be a picture in a book. It can be an actual animal. It can be a stuffed animal. Okay, Kristina, what species is that?
This is dog.
Dog. Dogosaurus. Okay, this is a dog. That's Stevie, right?
Stevie's back there.
Oh, Stevie's the other
There are
one.
2, Stevie and Calvin.
Hi, Stevie and Calvin. All right, that counts. That's a non-dino. Billy, hold that up for a second. Looks like that is a species of mouse, a certain species of mouse. Okay.
Rare mouse. Marco has a panda. Sandra has a Pokemon.
Okay, that counts. That counts.
Nate has a dog too.
I like Ethan's got one. Lenosaurus appears to have some sort of unicorn.
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to bring up Andrew and John here for a second. Is that it's an elephant or woolly mammoth type of thing? Mastodon, maybe? Maybe it's just an elephant.
Oh.
That's
On
cute.
my screen, Lena is right above Olivia, and they both have very sparkly animals. I thought they were both unicorns, but Olivia, is that a platypus? Yes.
Platypus.
Oh, great choice.
Spider-Man is technically a human and a spider, so those are both non-dinosaurs, so that works. I appreciate that. That's good. Do we have any last ones we want to show? Kaylin's got some sort of dog. We got a lot of dogs and stuffed air. Was that a turtle? Miles, I think, has a turtle. Nice, nice. Okay, those are good. All right, that was round 1. That one was pretty easy. You guys ready for round 2? Thank you for showing us your animals. I love it. You guys ready for round 2? Who's ready? All right, round 2. Scavenger hunt. I need you guys to bring us, well, hold on. Let me preface this. We're talking about fossilization. If one day you get to go, or maybe you already have, you've gone on a fossil hunt. You go out, you're digging up fossils. I need you guys to bring us what, your best fossil digging shoes. Bring us the pair of shoes that you would wear if you went on a fossil dig. So I don't want to see any sandals. Those are not safe. We need to see your best fossil digging shoes.
Okay. If I'm going to tell you to run around your house, you can watch me run around my house.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. We're going to want something sturdy.
Yep.
We need a closed toe.
Closed toe, sturdy. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You got like legit boots. Okay. Kristina's got some legit fossil hunting boots. I like that.
I have hunted fossils in these boots. So let's see.
All right. It looks like Nate has some comfy slippers. Olivia has, clearly she's going to go look for fossilized crocodiles with those Crocs. I like that. Nate's got some comfy shoes. Kaylin also has, looks like some cool sneakers like that. Daniel's got his high tops into that. Ooh, Kennedy looks like they got some cool boots.
Very sturdy boot, Kennedy. Great choice.
Oh, Miles, the classic Chucks, low top Chucks. Like, yeah, that works. That works.
Oh, Natalie has dino shoes.
Looks like Kaylin has a question. Kaylin, go ahead. What's up?
These are from my cousin's shoes. These are my cousin's shoes.
I like those. Those look like fun Nikes.
So they're kind of like a video one.
Yeah. I like those. Cool shoes. I like Nike high tops a lot. All right. Now that we have seen your non-dino animals and we put on our shoes for our fossil dig. Oh, I have a big pair of yellow boots. Andrew and John. I like those. Here's our last scavenger hunt question. You got your shoes. You're going to go on a fossil dig. You're allowed to bring with you one other thing to go out fossil hunting. I'm going to bring chapstick because my lips get dry and chapped out there in the sun. What is the one other thing you would bring with you? It could be a tool to help dig up a fossil. Maybe it's a water bottle. Maybe it's a snack. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's your phone. I don't know. What is one other thing, the special thing you're going to bring with you on your fossil dig?
Oh, this is a tough one. Okay. Let's see. I'll see if I can get some inspiration from the gallery. I think this dog's coming along with Quinn and James.
Bring a dog.
I think that's a great choice. Miles is this a mirror?
What?
Oh, a magnifying glass.
Magnifying glass. That's a great
choice.
That's a great one. Kennedy, is that a sword? Are we bringing a sword to our fossil dig? Sure.
You never know what you're gonna encounter.
Protect yourself from scavengers. Okay. All right.
Oh,
Nate's gonna bring looks like a Brachiosaurus model. You need to know what you're looking at, what you're looking for in the fossils. Okay, that's good. I like that, Nate.
I'm going to bring I chose a notebook because I want to remember what I saw and what we found.
That's good. Look at this. Daniel, I think, is on the right track. You gotta get a shovel. You gotta be able to like shovel the dirt away and move the rocks, find the fossil.
Sandro and Marco are hydrating. Good job.
Yep. Oh, Billy. I mean, we didn't say what time of day we're going to fossil hunt. Sometimes it's at night. You need to be able to see. Flashlight's a good call. Very good call. I like that.
Andrew and John have a snack, a Nutri-Grain bar, it looks like. You cannot fossil hunt hungry. I've tried. Don't do it.
I like this giant mallet Olivia has. Good. That's good. Into that. This is a good round of our scavenger hunt. I like this.
Oh, Rayansh, is that a brush to brush away dust? Great choice.
Wait, who has that?
Rayansh does.
Rayansh, wait, where'd you go? He left.
Come back.
Your brush. Yeah, that's good. You gotta be very careful. You might even have a toothbrush to chip away, like dust away little bits of dirt and sand and rock to get at the dinosaur. I like that.
We have some heavy tools in the chat here. Mallet, pickaxe. Yeah.
Yeah. Chainsaw. No one brought a chainsaw. I really thought someone was going to bring a chainsaw. Come on, guys. Next week.
Lenosaurus Rex is bringing her own huge Triceratops.
Well, if you're digging for Triceratops, you need reference material so you know what you're looking at. That makes sense. Makes sense. I like that. All right. Friends, here's where we're at. We did a welcome. We did our show and tell of our dino gear. We talked about how we know if a dinosaur is a dinosaur. We introduced our dino of the day, the Hadrosaurus. We played Dino or Not a Dino, and James crushed it. We talked about how does a dinosaur become a fossil. We took some of your questions. We talked about the different types of fossils, body fossils versus trace fossils. We just did our scavenger hunt. I think it's time for we take a few more questions before our dino of the day drawings.
I know we have so many eager question askers. Kaylin, I see your hand up. We'll start with your question if you're ready.
I actually think something really cool. Also, my shirt is like with a
Really cool shirt.
it's actually a T-Rex.
In the city. It's
cool. It's a T-Rex in the city.
T-Rex. Yeah, mine just have bones on them. Yours is like in the city. I like that. That's cool. Okay, who is next?
Lenosaurus Rex, I see you've had your hand up. Go ahead.
I just have another idea for a trace fossil.
Ooh, go ahead.
A tail trail. Like if a dinosaur was dragging its tail.
Have we found a lot of tail trails from dinosaurs?
I'm not sure, but that's another idea.
No, it is an idea. We found that from other extinct animals, like extinct alligators, but we don't really find dinosaurs with tails dragging behind them, which is one of the things that we made us realize, like, oh, remember old T-Rex? If you ever see any like real old picture of a T-Rex, it's standing upright with its tail dragging behind it, as most dinosaurs used to be depicted. You used to see most images of them like dragging their tails behind them, but we know they didn't do that because, you know, we haven't found those tail tracks. Like, in fact, remember our picture of the trackway here? There's no tail. You don't see like a line in the ground dragging a tail. So we knew they held their tails up off of the ground. But that's so we have found that for other animals, but not dinos. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up, because it means if we found it as a fossil, not a dinosaur. That's a really cool, and I hadn't thought about that. Cool point. All right, who's next, Kristina?
Vedyan, I saw your hand up. Do you still have your question? Okay.
Who is it?
Vedyan.
Can you start over again? I didn't hear the beginning.
What does Indominus Rex use its tail for?
I noticed someone in the chat, Sandra, asked, do all dinosaurs have tails? Yeah, which is cool, but yeah. And what did Indominus Rex use its tail for? So Indominus Rex was a made-up, genetically engineered dinosaur in a movie. But just like other large carnivores like Indominus Rex, maybe like your Deinonychus and your T-Rexes, we think they use their tail as kind of like a counterbalance to balance itself out, because it's got a lot of weight in its big, strong teeth and jaws and head, right? So if this is its head right here and this is the rest of its body, if there's no weight back here, the head's just gonna fall down and hit the ground, right? So with that tail sticking out in the back, it balances the animal out so it can run around, turn quickly, and not fall over. That's why they all have tails. If they didn't have tails, their faces would just fall and hit the ground.
A counterbalance. I always feel the need to like act out what you're describing. Like, my head is very heavy. Yes, I see the need for a tail. Miles asked, what was the first Spinosaurus skull found?
I don't know. Good question. I like that you said what was the first Spinosaurus skull, because Spinosaurus is a specific species, a specific type of dinosaur, but Spinosaurs, there's multiple different types of Spinosaurs, like Suchomimus and Irritator. That's the actual name of a dinosaur, is named Irritator. And the paleontologists named it because it was so annoying and irritating to be able to get out of the rock. So they named the dinosaur Irritator. But I'm not sure which was the first Spinosaurus skull we found. Good question. I see Natalie's got a question.
Yeah, I was going to give my chat order. We'll go Natalie, Ethan, Billy. So Natalie, go ahead.
How do you, if there's like a big heavy fossil, how do you bring it into the museum?
Very carefully. Basically, in lots of different parts. Like, you wouldn't bring the whole thing all at once, but if you got one fossil, you're gonna have to use some machinery or some like hydraulic jacks to get it up on a thing with wheels and roll it in. But it's like really big and heavy, right? So, but if you think, you guys have probably seen those trucks on the highway that have all the other cars on them, right? We have ways to move big, heavy stuff around. And so that's what they do with the dinosaurs' bones. But you're right, they're really, really heavy because, like we said earlier, it's a rock. It's a solid rock. It's not like a kind of a light, porous or hollow bone. It's a good question. They're really, really heavy.
Very, very heavy.
Yeah.
And then to move them around the museum, there are elevators that are sometimes the size of a whole room to get something up from ground level if you want to put it on a floor of the museum that's above the ground.
Yeah.
So everything big, slow, careful. I said next question will be Ethan. Ethan, I see you've had your hand up for a little while. What's your question?
What was the smartest dinosaur? What was the biggest?
What's the size of it?
And what's the size of their brain?
So smartest, you mean the biggest brain? Let's stick with the smart brain. Big. Okay, so what was the smartest dinosaur, which had the biggest brain? So you can't just look at the size of its brain, right? Because a T-Rex brain is pretty big because the animal is really, really big. You have to look at how big the brain is compared to the rest of its body. Like, think about a cat or a dog. Their brain isn't so big, like their head's not so big compared to the rest of their body, versus us. We've got a pretty big head with a pretty giant brain compared to the rest of the size of our body. So that's the way we figure out what animals we think are smarter versus ones that aren't as smart. So for instance, things like Stegosaurus and Triceratops, they had a really, really tiny brain, even for the size of their body. So they weren't very smart. But we think the smartest dinosaur was probably one called Troodon. So it's kind of like a velociraptor, very similar, but they had a really, really big brain. In fact, their brain was about 4 times bigger than we would expect it should be for an animal of that size body. Like imagine you had a dog and then you made its head and its brain 4 times bigger. That's what we mean. So we think Troodon is probably one of the smartest. And based on how big its brain is compared to how big its body is, we think it was about as smart as a dolphin. So dolphins that are alive today that are pretty smart. You can teach them to do tricks. They have communication between each other. So probably Troodon. That's probably what it is.
But Troodons are smart.
Troodon what?
Troodons are smart.
Troodons are smart.
Yeah, that's what he said to me.
They're pretty smart. Yeah. Good question. Thanks, Ethan. All right, Kristina, who we got next?
Billy, I know you've had your hand up for a while. We are ready for your question.
You're right, Ethan.
Told you.
Okay.
What kind of dinosaurs have feathers?
Ooh, I love that question. Kristina, do you want to answer that one? I've been answering all the questions. Did you hear that?
What kind of dinosaurs had feathers?
Yeah.
That's mostly the theropods, right?
Yeah.
So think of dinos like T-Rex or like Velociraptor, ones that ran around on 2 feet and had the shorter arms with claws. Those are the theropods. And that we think most likely have feathers.
Look, that has feathers.
Raptors. This
So,
is older.
so some small or big dinosaurs have feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good example. Remember our dinos from today that we've been talking about earlier? This is our Enigmosaurus. So she said theropods. Those are the 3-toed. They got 3 toes. If you look at like a chicken that's alive today, or an emu, or really any bird, pigeons, they have 3 toes. They're a type of theropod. When we say theropod, we mean a dinosaur that stands upright on its 2 legs with 3 toes and had feathers. And so there are a lot of different ones that had feathers, but like Kristina said, they're all, as far as we know at this point, all those theropods, which are like your T-Rexes, your Velociraptors, your Troodons, that type of thing, had feathers. I love feathers. I think they're awesome. Thanks for the question. It's a good question.
Sandra wants to know, did hadrosaurs eat bananas?
I don't think bananas existed yet.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure if they did, they would, because bananas are delicious. I had one literally right before we started.
Yep, when I logged into the Zoom, that's what Dustin was up to.
A banana, just like
Yeah.
the hat. Good
But
question.
they were herbivores. They were plant eaters.
Yes, that is true. It's speaking of like flowering plants that produce flowers to help them reproduce. Those didn't even appear until towards the end of the time of the dinosaurs. So for the majority of the time dinosaurs were on this planet, flowers and things that made seeds like a banana didn't even exist yet. A long time ago.
Yeah, no bananas yet, or any
No
other
bananas yet.
flowers or seeds.
Kristina, can we get like 2 more? Because we're almost out of time here. We got to do our gallery.
We do. Kaylin, you're up.
Oh, Kaylin. See if I can find Kaylin to bring to the fore.
I can if you can't.
I got it.
Got it?
I think I know some. How does dinosaurs fly?
How did dinosaurs fly? Remember, if you remember last week, we talked a lot about pterosaurs, which are like flying reptiles like pterodactyl and pteranodon, which are technically not dinosaurs. Those are the first things and the only things that were flying at the beginning of the time of the dinosaurs. By the end of the time of the dinosaurs, birds had evolved. The birds that we see today had evolved and were living alongside dinosaurs. Well, not the exact same birds, but birds that had feathers and could fly were flying around. And birds were the only ones that were able to survive the extinction. They killed all the non-flying ones that we're going to talk about next week.
Awesome.
All right, Kristina, let's do one more.
Okay, Marco, go ahead.
Uh-oh, Marco's muted.
You're gonna need to unmute yourself, Marco.
If an animal was like us that walks on 2 legs was to evolve and get scales or feathers for some reason or another, would it become a dinosaur or stay a non-dino?
So it would remain whatever. Like if I evolved and got feathers, so I think I'd still be a human. I'd still be a mammal. even though I gotten feathers, which would mean I would have to go back and change that flow chart I made because it wouldn't work anymore. But it's a good question. I would have to change that up a lot.
This is a hot dog a sandwich type question.
It is. Is a hot dog a sandwich? That's a good question.
Got it.
Oh boy. Oh boy. All right, let's check in at where we are at. Let me share the screen. We did all this stuff. We just did questions. Oh, it is time for Dino of the Day drawings. So please hold up your hadrosaurs so we can check out your cool drawings. If your mom or dad or whoever you're with is on the internet, please upload these and tag us because I love these and I want to reshare them. So it looks like Andrew John. Oh, that's a good looking hadrosaur. I like the 2 pillar legs. It's got to stand up somehow. Like that a lot. It looks good. Let's go to Lenosaurus here.
Very good tail for balance.
Right. I like the colors here. I see the clouds in the sky. Looks like a beautiful spring day.
There's love. Love is literally in the air for this hadrosaurus.
Ooh, look at Marco's here.
Look at that art.
Are those eggs?
Whoa.
That's really cool.
What a nest.
Yeah, that's really good. We're going to go to Sandro now. Oh, I like the turn back and look. I like that a lot.
Yeah, this is a really skillful sketch as well, Sandro. I like that it's in its environment. We can see it's interacting with the plants. It's on its on the grass.
I like this. This next one is like a contemporary art, like interpretation of a hadrosaurus. I like this. I like this.
Yeah, I think is it kind of curled around its tail?
Possibly.
Maybe
Possibly.
protecting its
Art
egg.
is in the eye of the beholder.
And this really is art.
Yeah, that's art. That is art. How about this one? Oh, I like this one. A chunky body. I like the chunkiness there.
Oh yeah. It looks like it's offering you something. Like, come here, buddy. Come have a hug.
Oh, I like this one too. This
Good
is
job,
a little
Olivia.
interpretation. Natalie, I'm here for this. Well done. It's a good looking hadrosaur.
It looks like it's calling out. Hey.
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 Oh, this one might be feeding. Looks like it's getting some food from a tree, maybe.
Herbivorous.
This one, maybe. I don't know, Nate. That looks good though. I like it. Looks
I
good.
see the detailed hands as well. Hands are hard. Good job.
I like the stripes on its body too. It's a good detail. It's very good. Let's see. We're gonna add. Let's go to Kennedy here. Ooh, the coloration on this one.
Oh, more stripes. This must have been an adaptation so that predators couldn't see it.
Possibly. Distinct possibility. Daniel.
Oh, another one in its environment. I like that this one is maybe by a lake with a beautiful tree and some friends around. This hadrosaur is having a great day.
I like that it's labeled too. Because if someone found this, we need to know like what the drawing is. So I like that you wrote Hadrosaurus on it too. Oh, and our friend Miles here also wrote Hadrosaur. Sorry if wrong.
You are so right, Miles.
Right, that's great. Miles is great. It just looks great. Love it.
Really
right.
well represents how it could choose to be on the 2 feet.
Yeah. I think that was the last of our paleo art gallery. Oh, we got to go to Caitlin's real fast. Last one here.
Well done, Miles.
Hold that close up, Caitlin. Can you hold that up to the screen?
Oh, does this Hadrosaurus have a friend with it too? Maybe a long neck? Yeah.
That's so cute. All right, you guys, our time is almost up. We have a couple final orders of business, and we have a very special poll that we need your input on. But first, I want to remind everyone, let me bring this up real quick. Hold on one second. I want to remind you guys of all the other very cool stuff that is happening here at Dinoventures, including if I can figure out how to share my screen. It's like I've never done this before. Boom. We've got a bunch of different virtual events with Dadventures almost every single day of the week. Obviously, we are here every Sunday. So next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon, same time, same bat channel. Please follow Dadventures so you never miss any of the very, very cool programming that we are putting on. And last but not least, next week, we are talking all about extinction. I haven't seen a T-Rex walk down the street. I assume you haven't either, so we know they're not here anymore. They're extinct. How did the dinosaurs go extinct? Why did the dinosaurs go extinct? And which ones actually are not extinct? Because when we say dinosaurs are extinct, not all dinosaurs are extinct. There's a very specific group of dinosaurs that are still alive and well today that maybe you even had for lunch but I've already said too much. That's a spoiler for next week. So Kristina, we were talking about how cool it would be if like we had a real life Jurassic Park.
That's all we all want. That's
That's
it.
what we want, right? And clearly, like, we're a really cool group of dinosaur scientists, and they probably come to us when they're like, oh, we want to make a new dino outside of the ones from the movie and add to the park. Which one should we make? So we thought we'd ask you guys. Remember, these are the 5 new dinosaurs other than Hadrosaurus. Other than Hadrosaurus, these are the 5 new dinosaurs we learned about today. We saw Macrogryphosaurus. We saw Codosaurus. We saw Ozraptor. We saw Enigmosaurus. And we saw Ajkaceratops. So, you guys, we are very curious to know, because we're talking about extinction next week, if we were to unextinct one of those, which one should we bring back to life? I'll show you the pictures one more time. Which of those do you want to bring back to life? Is it the first one, Macrogryphosaurus? Is it Codosaurus? Is it Ozraptor, Enigmosaurus, or Ajkaceratops? Which one should we de-extinct to put into our very own Jurassic Park? How are you voting, Kristina?
This is such a hard choice. You have so many of my favorite types of dino represented. We have a sauropod with Codosaurus. We have a Therizinosaurus represented with Enigmosaurus. Oh man. I'm gonna go Macrogryphosaurus because it's like our dino of the day. It looks like a hadrosaur, right? But it has spikes.
It's true, but guess what? Ajkaceratops won.
It's adorable.
Guys, this is the tiny little cousin of Triceratops that we are bringing back. It's only a little bit bigger than a cat and very, very cute and very hungry. So that is the dino we'll bring back. Hey, maybe it'll be back here next week when we talk about extinction. Kristina, do you have any final parting words before you say bye to everybody?
I really like what Miles said in the chat. Just pick them all.
Yeah, just bring them all back. Good point. Good point. That is true. Speaking of bringing things back, I hope you guys bring yourselves back next week. Until next Sunday, I don't care if you're asking questions, searching for dinosaurs, or picking your nose. Never stop digging. I love you guys. I love dinosaurs. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye, everybody.
See you next time.
Bye. 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 I can't wait to see what you guys wear next week. Bye.
I better get some dino accessories.
Bye, guys.